Mm-hmm. Oh, hey. Late night thinking, soul unwinding, dreaming of the life I'm designing, working through the noise to see what this joy.
Hey Joy Chasers, welcome back to Chasing After Joy. If you don't know who I am or this is your first time visiting this channel, I'm Dr. Joy, a proud Gen Xer, an over 50 girly, and a person who promotes my motto, love who you are and let no one take your joy away. It is late, y'all. It is a late night on the weekend, and I am usually during late night time, I am either scrolling on TikTok, laughing at stuff, watching something on television, or doing one of my hobbies. But before I get into what I'm doing tonight, I do want to say earlier this evening I was watching YouTube again, and this has been out for a couple weeks now, but I was watching YouTube again and I was scrolling and I saw my, I call her my now bestie, my famous bestie, Jill Scott. I love Jill Scott. I've been to lots of her concerts. I have listened to a lot of her interviews. And the interview that I listened to was Angie Martinez's interview with her. She just came out with her latest studio album on, I think it was February 14th. And she was kind of promoting that, but talking about life, y'all. She was really talking about life. So I watched that about maybe about a month ago. And then I started seeing again, it's coming on TikTok and Instagram where people are sharing her blurbs that was really good. She gave some great gems on this interview. I loved it. And when I heard it again, I was like, you know what? This relates to chasing after joy. It really does.
I want to live the kind of life I want to live. I want to take naps during the day if I want to. I want to make a garden if I want to. I want to redecorate my house if I want to and do a little demolishing and starting over renovations. I want to be there for my person. I wanted to really want to be outside. I really needed to want that. And I'll do. I'm here.
It's a choice now, right?
It is a choice.
Yeah. What I want to say is that what I'm going to be sharing with y'all tonight, it is going to relate to joy. It's going to affect all aspects of life from your 20s all the way to your 60s. And it really resonated with me when Jill Scott began to talk about it. As we talk about it, I am also going to be doing my little hobby that I do. This is called diamond art, and diamond art is so relaxing. It doesn't it's no brain power to it. It's just follow the numbers, putting each one of the little diamonds that they have on here in order to make it all cutesy and blingy. But I was in Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is my store. So I was in Hobby Lobby earlier today, and I was just shopping around, just looking, because usually I just go in there just to look. And I found another one of these diamond art kits. And this diamond art kit, it came with a picture frame already with it. And it says, "Happy looks good on you." Now, you know I had to get this one. I had to get this one because definitely happy looks good on me. Happy looks good on you. I was resonating with Jill Scott's quote for a minute now. She did an interview on Angie Martinez's show on YouTube. Angie Martinez does interviews, and she interviewed Jill Scott. And Jill Scott on this interview, a platform with Angie, she shared a lot of gems, y'all. A lot of gems about life. Jill Scott is an over 50 girly too, just like your girl. And when I was listening to her, I'm like, oh my gosh, the wisdom she has. But just listening to that interview and listening to the entire thing and all the gems that she was given, I like the quote that she gave. And the one that I liked most was this. It was work hard in your 20s, work smart in your 30s, work how you want to in your 40s, work when you want to in your 50s, and work if you want to in your 60s. I'm gonna let that resonate with you, and I'm gonna let her say it again for you.
So the plan is, well, it was and still is, that you work hard in your 20s, you work smart in your 30s, you work how you want to in your 40s, you work when you want to in your 50s, and you work if you want in your 60s.
So what I actually really want to say about that, you heard it again from her, and I actually agree with her. I really agree, but maybe not the way most people think, because when most people think about it, they really are thinking about the career side of it. I'm not. And at 53, here's what I know. Work, when you think about working, work should fund your joy. Not become your joy. So I think a lot of people got this all wrong, y'all. A lot of people make their work their joy, and it should be the opposite. Work should fund your joy and not become your joy. Or thinking about what I just said, that Jill Scott's blurbs about working in your 20s hard, working smart when in your 30s, working how you want to in your 40s, when you want to in your 50s, and if you want to in your 60s. Yes, that is totally about career, because when she was on the interview, she basically said in her 50s, now she's at the point in her life that she works when she wants to.
I wanted to do what I wanted to do. That was the goal.
But for me, when I was thinking about this, I'm like, okay, I understand that part of it as far as how you're supposed to work if you are, if someone actually told you how to do this, because sometimes you get out here and you just fend for yourself. But at 53, now that I'm thinking about what she said, I think work should fund your joy, okay? Not become your joy, because a lot of us think that when you're working, it would really, really become your joy, and then you, toward the end of what you're doing, you actually start to hate what you do. So before work funded my joy, it cost me something else. It cost me stress. It cost me energy. It cost me silence. Yeah, let's talk about that. When I say stress, I mean, that's the kind of, stress is the kind where your body is tired, but your mind won't turn off. How many of y'all are there? Your stress causes your body to be tired, but your mind doesn't turn off. I know a lot of us are there. And then think about your energy. Energy is the kind where you show up all polished at work, but when you get home, you're depleted. And then the silence. Now, that one is very deep for me. Silence is when I stop checking in with me and I didn't answer what I wanted. I just kept doing what people told me was the right thing to do, or what I felt at the time was something that I had to do. And when you have to do something, you just be silent and you just do it. And a lot of us are in that type of predicament. A lot of us don't learn what Jill Scott is talking about until we are older and wiser, or until you have a total breakdown. So when work gets louder than your inner voice, you start building a life that looks good, but it's not peaceful. You start building a life that looks good, but it's not peaceful. How many people been there? Yeah, me. That's why I can really relate to what she was saying. And that's how I can take what she's saying and turn that around and not think about it as career wise. I think about it as life, as my joy, and what I basically, was missing for a long time. There's a moment in adulthood when work gets louder than your inner voice. I have been there, especially in my younger years, before I resonated with what Jill Scott said, and before I even knew what that was all about. I didn't get that part till later on in life. But if you're listening tonight and you are a younger joy chaser, take heed to what Jill Scott is saying as far as your career, but also take heed to what I am saying to you as well. And I want you to make sure that you relate what I'm saying to life. Because in your 20s, you need to save something. Like, you do need to work hard. And working hard means, as far as my opinion, it means that you're saving something, even if it's small. Don't spend all your money. Don't spend all your money out there and wilding out. My boys now are in their 20s, and I tell them all the time, don't be out there wilding out, okay? Use your money wisely. Think wise. Develop a skill that makes you employable anywhere. I wish somebody would have told me that in my 20s. Make sure you develop a skill that is employable anywhere. Now, do I now know that? Yes, I now know that now, because when I was younger in my adulthood, I just thought whatever my career was, that's the only job I can ever do. I can't do nothing else, especially the job that I had. I was an educator. I went to school to educate children. After I began to educate children, I wanted to move up, and I did. I moved up as a vice principal in a school and stayed there for many, many years. And then I finally said, okay, I'm done. I'm getting ready to early retire. And that's exactly what I did. But we'll get to that when I get to the 50s. But what I do want to say, that if you're in your 20s, you need to save a little, even if it's small, and you need to develop a skill. Whether you're in college for something, develop whatever skill that you have, and to make sure that you're employable anywhere. So if you get tired of what you're doing, you can say, I'm about to move to the next job because this skill that I have, somebody will hire me for that job as well. And then not only that, as you're working hard in your 20s, you need to track your energy, not just your paycheck. I know you're working hard. I know you're trying to impress. I know you want to move up. I know you want to do all of those things. But as you are doing those things, make sure that you are definitely tracking your energy. If you're getting too tired or you're staying up late, partying, doing all those things, plus trying to go to work as well and do a good job, you are going to give out. And when you give out, sometimes that can cost you your livelihood. Lots of people have had to start over in their 20s because they wowed out. They did not track their energy and they thought that they were working hard, but they were working hard for a paycheck and not for their joy. And they are really excluding a lot of things. And once you do that, ask yourself once a year, what do I actually enjoy? What do I actually enjoy? And you definitely need to ask yourself that question. Because if you cannot answer that, if your job is doing that much, having you stressing out that much, you need to revamp and look at how you're doing things and figure it out and calm it down. I'm talking to my 20-year-old joy chasers. If you're in your 20s, hear me good. Okay? Now, hard work without self-awareness, all it does is build burnout faster. That's all it does. It doesn't make you look good. It doesn't. You may be thinking like, yeah, I'm doing this. All it's gonna do is make you burn out faster, and it's gonna make you want to hate your life or hate your job, and you're gonna then make rash decisions. Now let's get to my 30s, your 30s. If you are in your 30s, hold on, let's see what's going on now. Okay, there it is. I'm making sure I have enough on here. If you are in your 30s, you can't just work hard anymore. You have to work smart, because that's what Jill Scott said. Not only that she said it, is true. Okay, and you're working hard, but you're also working smarter. Okay, this is in your 30s is the decade where boundaries become wealth. Your boundaries, you got to make some boundaries for yourself, and it becomes your wealth, and your wealth is your health. If you cannot say no in your 30s, in your 40s, that no it's gonna say it for you. And in my 40s, that's where the light bulb came on. I couldn't say no in my 30s. I couldn't say no in my 20s. In my 40s, my mental capacity, my physical, my whole self said no to me. It said no to me. The light bulb really, really came on in my 40s. And it wasn't in my early 40s, y'all. It was in my late 40s when finally I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Nah, you're not going to treat me like that. Nah, nah. So what you definitely need to do in your 30s is you need to learn to decline without over explaining. If you say no, you don't want to do something, just say no, you don't want to do it. You don't have to explain. Just say no. Now, I know, y'all. I know that's harder. What is the saying? Is better said than done. Like, you can execute saying it out loud, but doing it is something different. And I do agree. But if you can't say no now, your 40s are going to teach you to say no, whether you want to say no or not. And like I say, that's when it happened to me. That's when it happened to me. In your 30s, you got to also make sure that you're investing time, investing money, investing, not just earning. If you're just earning money, spending money, what's going to happen when you get in your 50s and 60s? How are you going to be able to then live the life that you really want? How are you going to be able to do what Jill Scott's blurb said? You know, in your 50s, you work when you want to. In your 60s, you work if you want to. How are you going to be able to do that if you're not investing money, time, energy in the things that are important to build a brighter future for you? And then in your 30s, if you're in your 30s, make sure that you're taking one protected day off. Now, I'm not saying if you work Monday through Friday and you say, oh, boss, I need to take a day off. No, because if you work Monday through Friday, you got Saturday and Sunday off. So really, you got 2 productive days off. But what I am saying, when you're off, be off. Okay? When you're off, be off. Now, what I can say, if you're an educator, that is harder to do. It is better said than done. I know. You still have papers to grade. If you are in leadership roles like myself, you got phone calls to be answering when somebody wants to call out and you got to get a substitute. You're on call 24/7. Sometimes teachers call at 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to be able to hello, hello, and answer that. Yes, sometimes that comes with the territory, but also when you do have that amount of time to totally be off, y'all. Do not turn on that stuff. I remember in my 30s bringing home my bag. As a teacher, I'm like, I'm going to bring all these papers home. I'm going to grade all these papers and I'm going to get caught up for school. No, it didn't work out like that. Because on the weekend, I was like, oh gosh, I'm so tired. And then that bag that I brought home, it is still in the car waiting, waiting on me. And Monday morning come, that bag is taken out of the car back into my classroom when I was doing that at that time. And I didn't do nothing. Same thing when I was a vice principal. I bring my bag home, like, okay, let me look at some of these evaluations, try to figure out some of these evaluations, look at things that the principal wanted me to do, and just have my plan ready, my reset. That's not a reset, that's work. And guess what? That bag stayed right in the car, okay? Because in my 40s, I know we're talking about our 30s. Now in my 30s, I brought that bag in and I did my work. And my husband knew on Sundays, don't bother me because I am grading papers or I am doing something that I need to prep for as a vice principal. I did all of those things in my 30s. But in my 40s, it taught me my lesson. Like, girl, you need to stop. You should have stopped in your 30s and know how to say no to yourself and not be bringing home these things because now you're paying for it. And I paid for that, because my body and my mind and everything else. And when I say my mind, meaning not saying that anything was wrong with my mind, but when I say my mind, meaning that I brain fog. You're tired. You're just going just to be going. My body said no. And in my 40s, that's exactly what was told to me. So yes, work smart when you're in your 30s, but that isn't about doing more. It's about protecting your capacity because I did more. Honestly, I did. The Gen Xers, we work hard for our money. We loyal to our jobs. We are. And, I can count the days I was off from work. Barely. None. Unless it was given to me automatically for vacation days. But just for me to just take a day off, no, I didn't take a day off. I tried to make sure I scheduled all of my doctor's appointments during the summertime or on a scheduled holiday when everybody was out. I racked up my PTO. And that was something I was proud of. But that's nothing to be proud of. I had to take care of myself. I did not learn that lesson until my 40s, y'all. When everything came like Joy, you should have been listening to your body in your 30s when you were trying to do all this stuff and, do more and more and more. You should have listened then, but you didn't. So now you're having to pay for it. So when you get in your 40s, Jill Scott says you work how you want to. Because if you did what you were supposed to do in your 20s and 30s, work smart, work hard, and don't overdo it, then you should have all the data you need to make sure that you are smooth sailing through the 40s. Now, everything don't work out like that. It doesn't. But that is the way it's supposed to. So in your 40s, you need to ask, if I had to do this 20 more years, if I had to do my job 20 more years, if I had to live life 20 more years, can I do it with joy? Some of you probably saying, I'm struggling now. No. And some of you might be like, yeah, I could do that. But most of us are saying, no. Can I do this job 20 more years? No, because I'm tired. I didn't work my ass off in my 20s and 30s for this same job. Ain't nobody giving me nothing. Ain't nobody trying to, say I deserve anything. Because like my mama used to tell me with a job, that if you're on a job and something happens to you today and you have to be out for a long period of time, or even if you pass away, guess what they're going to do? They're going to get somebody else in there. They may cry over you for a little bit. They may say, oh, poor Joy. We're so sorry that happened to her. Do y'all have a substitute to get in this classroom? Yeah, or do we have another vice principal that we can hire for her job? So let that sink in. If you know that people really think that highly of who you are, then you got another thought coming. They don't. They just want the job done. Nobody cares about your joy but you. You have to realize that. So if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're listening to this, please take heed. Because like I said, I did not learn this lesson until I was late in my 40s. When I had already gone through all of these obstacles of living life and trying to work hard all the time, be loyal to these jobs or whatever the case may be, and they not loyal to you. So you got to then say to yourself, okay, let me get some peace here. Let me have at least some peace on my weekends so I can chase some joy. And if you, like I said, are in your 20s and 30s and you need time to figure that out, now is the time. If you are in your 40s and you're just figuring out, well, you're just like me. That's when I figured it out. I figured it out then, because what you need to also be able to do in your 40s is identify one tolerated stress, meaning you can tolerate the stress and then address it. So if the stress is you not giving yourself love, giving yourself some self-love, if you're not doing that for yourself, address that. Hey, I'm not giving myself any self-love. I'm going to start on the weekend looking at Chasing Out the Joy YouTube channel and taking ideas from how to give myself self-love from Dr. Joy. Okay? Or from anybody else, or just for yourself. Look it up for yourself. See what you can do to give yourself that self-love, y'all, because it's never too late. I can say that. It's never too late to give yourself, to address whatever stress you're going through and figure out what to do to make yourself happy. Then you also, in your 40s, need to have financial conversation. In your 40s, you need to be thinking about what's going to happen in 10, 15 years. How many more years do I need to work before I can actually retire from my job and live off the money that I have worked so hard to have? Most people don't have a pension that they can live off of, meaning you have a 401k and you can go in and out of that 401k all you want. If you're an educator, you know, you get a teacher's retirement. You can't bother it. They take it out of your check and you can't touch it, at least in my state. You cannot bother it, and it stays there, and they take it out every time you get paid, and then when you retire, then you start collecting it. Now for them, early retirement begins at 25 years, and a full retirement at 30 years, okay? But what I want to say about that is you definitely need to make sure that you have a financial conversation with your partner, if you have, husband or wife, or you, or have that conversation with yourself, and then redefine success in your own words. Do not follow your own path. All right. When I started podcasting, that was my saying: chase out the joy and follow your own path. Because I can tell you, and I did a podcast, and it wasn't even a vlog, it was a face-to-face like we're doing here. It was about when I first determined that joy, you gotta slow your ass down. You cannot keep running like this and doing what everybody else tell you to do. You need to follow your own path. And that's exactly what I did. I said to myself, like, no, I'm not following the yellow brick road, okay? The Wizard of Oz. Follow the yellow brick road and you're going to get to the big end and it's going to be happy. Well, think about Dorothy. She followed the yellow brick road and it didn't end as a happy camper. You know, she had all these trials and tribulations as she went through this road, and she still got to the end and like, damn. But anyway, when I think about follow your own path, I'm thinking you're breaking from the yellow brick road. I was on the yellow brick road in my 20s, my 30s, and half of my 40s. Whatever somebody else told me to do, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I need to do that. Oh, okay, you want me to do that? Yes, I'll do that. You want me to not take this day off? Okay, I won't take this day off. Oh, you want me to do this or that? Let me tell you, it was always about everybody else but joy. Until finally, the light bulb came on, literally at 48 years old. And I said, This is done. I am not following the yellow brick road. I'm following my own path. I'm getting ready to chase after joy and know that who I am, loving who I am, and not letting anybody take my joy away is exactly how I'm going to now live my life. So when the 40s say you work how you want to, that's exactly what I did. At 48, I began to work how I wanted to work, what was good for me. I had to redefine my success, okay? So your 40s are not about coasting. Your 40s clarify things for you, put it all out for you. And whether you had it hard or good, it's gonna clarify, the light bulb's gonna go on, and you are then going to start chasing after joy the way that you feel you want to. Okay, so I know I've been talking a whole lot about the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s. Now I'm getting to me. This year I am going to be 53 years old. Okay, I love my 50s. I love it. I'm like Jill Scott. She gave these gems about 50s. You are going to work when you want to. Okay. But the freedom does not magically appear. It's not like, oh, I'm 50 now. Let me go ahead and work when I want to. It don't work like that. You got to prepare for that thing. You got to prepare for that. If you have a partner, you and your partner got to talk, and you be like, okay, baby, what we going to do here? How are we going to work this thing out? How are we going to live the rest of our life together? And if we're now in our 50s, are we working when we want to? Because freedom feels good. I am at that stage. And I'm not talking about work career-wise, because I am retired from my other job, early retired from being an educator, and now I'm doing my own thing. Okay, that's how I know that I have that freedom, because now I am working when I want to, because I had to. You simplify, you build income streams. You don't count on one income stream, and you don't let those income streams steal your peace. Okay? Because if you are letting the income streams steal your peace, well, guess what, y'all? Then you might as well go back to working hard, working smart, and how. Okay? The hard, the smart, and the how. You might as well say you are reversing. In your 50s, you are simplifying everything. You're prioritizing your health. That's why I can say no. When somebody says, can you? No. I will say yes if I want to. If I don't want to, I say no. I look at things of what I'm eating now. I'm going to prioritize my health. What I'm eating, how I'm looking. I am not making sure that I get enough rest. All of the above, I am doing because now I'm in my 50s, and this working thing is how I want to. And that work is not just career. I'm talking about life. This life thing, I'm doing it the way that I want to. Like I said, I'm almost 53 years old, and joy for me is freedom, because it's peace in my home. It's booking a flight to wherever I want to go with my hubby, or with my sisters, or with whoever, whoever, because I can. When I was in my 20s and 30s, and because I was living for other people and how they wanted me to do things, I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Now, when my husband and I say we want to take a mini vacation, we take a mini vacation. In my home, it's quiet, it's peaceful in here. and I have time freedom. I get the opportunity to do the things that I want on my time. But that only happened because I stopped letting work, or I stopped letting life take my silence. Okay, let me say that again. That only happened for me to be able to work when I want to life the way that I want to, because I'm taking this from the career to life the way that I want to, is because I stopped letting life take my silence, my peace, my joy. I choose to work. I choose to do whatever I want to do in life. I want to do it now, and the reason that I'm choosing the way that I live my life now is because I love who I am. And I'm not letting anyone take, my joy away. Now, I haven't made it to the 60s yet. And if you are part of that 60s group, this is for you. You are at that place that you work or you live life the way that you want, if you want to live the life that way. And you work if you want to work, not because you need any validation from anyone. In your 60s, you should not just at this point just be working and just, keeping all your knowledge to yourself. You need to mentor. I think if you're in your 60s, you need to be mentoring people like myself and people 40s and 30s and 20s. You need to do that because they count on us, or people that's older than me in their 60s. They're counting on you to be able to say, listen, I done been down that road. You don't need to go down that road. I can tell you all the things that's going to happen if you take that route. So definitely, I say that if you are in your 60s, you need to mentor people and you need to downsize what is draining you. So if something's draining you and you're in your 60s, let that go. You don't have to deal with that ish no more. You're in your 60s. You need to say, no. And then you need to travel. You should be up. Your health should still be good in your 60s. You need to be walking. You need to be doing things that's physically getting your brain to moving. You need to be looking at interviews and sharing your thoughts on that with other people. And you need to travel intentionally. You don't need to just be sitting home unless that's your thing. But most people, when they have the money to do the traveling and their health is good, they are traveling. I can tell you, my daddy is 70 something. I don't want to tell his age, but because he don't like all that, but he's in his 70s, right? And he travels. He travels out of the country half of the year, come back and be like, Joe, I'm back. and then he stays in the States. Then he travels again. I mean, my daddy will always tell you, I'm not old, I'm young. And I speak like my dad. He is constantly saying, I'm not, no one's putting that old talk on me. I am living my life. I'm traveling intentionally. I'm doing what I want to do now because I can. And that's what 60 plus people need to do. They're doing it because they want to. If they want to. If they want to travel, they travel. If they don't, they don't. And they protect their energy. I can truly say, my dad protects his energy. He will tell you, even if you start talking to him about something, even a woe is me conversation. I remember I told him something that I watched on television. He's like, that's low vibration. My daddy said that to me. That's low vibration joy. You don't need that in your life. I'm like, the girl that says chasing after joy, that's always talking about joy and being happy. And now my daddy telling me, oh no, we're not gonna talk about that. That's low vibration. Okay. I'm like, I see you, daddy. I see you. And I like that. I like that. Because freedom is expensive, when you think about being in your 60s and beyond. And if you haven't prepared for it, it's hard. And you have to have those life lessons, because if you didn't prepare, that's the life lesson you get. But if you did prepare, hey, that freedom is yours. If work is going to fund your joy, and I'm talking about career, if that work is going to fund your joy, it cannot bankrupt your soul. That's now the way that I think about what Jill Scott said. If it's going to fund what you're doing, your joy, and your joy is your happiness or whatever you're doing, not just materialistic wise, but you cannot bankrupt your soul if you want it to fund your joy. I respect working. I've been working since I've been 14 years old. When you work, you build security. When you work, you build and you have options. I can truly say that because my history alone, when it comes to working, started at age 14. And I can say it probably started beyond that. I remember us getting papers when I was in the car. My mom, we were younger, and I remember papers. We had to roll up the papers early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. We went out and we were throwing those papers. My mom would be driving. She's like, throw that paper over there. Because that's when newspapers used to come to your yard, and you throw the paper up there in the yard, and then people come out and get their newspaper. I was doing that way before I was even 14. But my first job with working was 14 years old at a grocery store, Winn-Dixie to be exact. And so I know about working. I know about working hard. I know about how to be independent. I know how to do all of those things. But what I'm saying is I was working at the time in my 20s and 30s. I was working for a paycheck. I was just like, oh, and I was working for that promotion. I wasn't thinking about what the latter part of my life was going to look like until it showed me, until it hit me. It's like, you did too much. Now that you've done too much, I got to show you how to slow yourself down and revamp yourself and figure out how you're going to do this life thing. And that's exactly what I did. I'm in my 50s now, getting ready to turn 53, as I stated. And I'm where Jill Scott is. I'm working when I want to. And when I get in my 60s, I'm going to work if I want to. And I'm not just talking about career. I'm talking about life. When I want to do something, I'll do it. If I don't, I won't. Same thing with my 60s. I'm going to be mentoring others. And if I want to do something, I will. But if I don't, hey. And I can truly say that. I can say God is good. God is good. God has blessed me. And I don't take any of the things of my life where I am today for granted. Because I think every life journey has twists and turns, ups and downs. And sometimes the guidance that you may be receiving, you like, bah, I don't want that. I want to hear what you got to say. Yeah, hard head, make a soft ass, as my mom would say. Yeah, you got to determine whether or not you're going to keep going down the road to follow everybody else's path for you, or you're going to follow your own path. And you're going to love who you are and let no one take your joy away. I can truly say that if you follow the path of Jill Scott's blurb and take in consideration all the things that I've said about life, Joy, at whatever level you are at, it will work. Chasing after joy isn't about quitting. It's about making sure that whether it's your career, job, or whatever, that's not consuming you. That it's not your whole life, because you need those joy moments. You need to follow your own path. I don't know what decade you're in, but I want you to ask yourself tonight, what is funding your joy? What is your work funding? What type of joy is it funding for you? If you're saying it's not funding anything but my paycheck, revamp, relook, revisit. And if the answer isn't peace and time and experiences you love, it might be time to adjust to something differently. Follow a new path. Don't follow the yellow brick road, y'all. Follow your own path. Love who you are and let no one take your joy away. All right, y'all. I think I have talked about this enough. I hope I talked about it at a deep level with you, so that wherever you are in life, in your journey, you can now decide what path that you're going to take in making sure that your work is funding your joy, not your joy is your job. Okay? All right. Thanks so much, y'all, for this late night chit chat with me. Yeah, it's late. It's late. And until next time, love who you are and let no one take your joy away. Bye.
I've been saying yes to 100